back to another one, you guys. If you're new to the channel, my name is Andrew with Younger Mitsubishi in Hagerstown, Maryland. For more information on our inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. So today we are in the brand new 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage, because there are several changes actually for the 2024 model year. Not only that, you now get Mitsubishi's new 2 years or 30,000 mile complimentary maintenance program, and you get America's best warranty. But on top of that, Younger Mitsubishi will double the powertrain warranty and put you at 20 years or 200,000 miles on the powertrain. So if the engine dies at 199,000 miles, guess what? You're covered. That's pretty cool, and that's valid nationwide. But ultimately, in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one. So having said that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. So as you can imagine, there are several different trim levels for the 2024 Mirage. First one being the ES, starting at $16,695. That being the one we are in today. And by the way, that's a $450 bump from the 2023 model year, but still under $17,000. So gotta love that. LE trim starts at $17,245. Black Edition or BE starting at $17,845. And lastly, the SE going for $18,595. But regardless of trim level that you go with, the power plant on the Mirage is going to be the same. Powering the little beast is a 1.2 liter naturally aspirated inline 3-cylinder, putting out 76 horsepower at 6,000 RPM, 74 pound-feet of torque coming in at 4,000 RPM. That power being sent to the front wheels through a continuously variable transmission. 0 to 60 time coming in at approximately 12 seconds flat. We'll give it a little acceleration test a little bit later in the video, but MPG numbers, get this, 36 in the city, 43 on the highway. And yes, that is better than the Chevy Spark and the Kia Rio as well. And of course, taking regular unleaded fuel. So now that I've got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find it straight away. Let's put the Mirage here to the test. Let me get my GoPro set up here and let's see how quickly we can get this one here up to speed. Here we go. All right, 20, 30, we're going, baby. 40, we're going 50. Hey, all right, 55, stay alive, that'll work. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, you'll get used to it. I bet you will get used to it. Now, I don't own a Mirage, so I can't vouch for that, but with any vehicle, if you drive it enough, you're gonna get used to it. You're gonna know your limitations. And yeah, having said that, it's certainly not the quickest thing in the world, but it should get the job done. And keep in mind, the trade-off is you get some pretty incredible miles per gallon in this thing. But anyways, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. So up front, you will find 9-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 7-inch rear drum brakes. As far as that 6-0 stopping distance goes, that comes in at 127 feet, which is a pretty average number for an SUV. I will say that. So having said that, braking feel is definitely on the softer side of things. So it does feel like it takes a little more push to actually bring this thing to a stop. But having said that, it's not the heaviest vehicle out there. It's a pretty darn light vehicle. So it definitely does come to a stop, but that 6-0 number is not the best. And again, it is a soft braking feel. But then touching on suspension and handling, up front you're going to get a McPherson strut front suspension. In the back, torsion beam rear axle. As far as ride quality goes, it hasn't been too bad. Now I will say, in compact cars or even subcompact cars like this, you do tend to feel a little bit more of the road, and maybe it's because I'm cruising over some ridiculously smooth roads right now in Hagerstown, but yeah, ride quality hasn't been all that bad, so I haven't had any issues there. As far as steering feel goes, it is a little bit more on the heavier side of things, which I personally kind of like, so that's not a bad thing in my opinion. So I personally don't have any issues with the steering feel. Touching on visibility, I can see 100% perfectly fine out the back. So rear visibility is absolutely amazing. Probably one of the best out there, quite honestly. And get ready for a new feature for 2024 here. Rain sensing windshield wipers now come standard on the LE trim level and up. And rain sensing windshield wipers did not exist on the Mirage for the 2023 model year, but now you get it on the LE trim level and up. So that is one of the new features for 2024. But having said that, that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage, finished in graphite gray metallic, which, by the way, is one of the 2 new colors for the 2024 Mirage. Graphite gray is going to be replacing Mercury gray, and then jet black replaces the Mystic black from last year. So those are the 2 new colors if you wanted the latest and greatest. But as always, let's go ahead and start with where the Mirage is actually built. Taking a look at the VIN. First characters are ML, so I know I had to look this one up last year, but now I know. ML means that this one is built and assembled in Thailand, TDM. So it actually says it on the window sticker as well, which is pretty cool. So made in Thailand. You don't see many vehicles here in the US that are made in Thailand. But anyways, let's go ahead and start up front. BE, by the way, if I didn't say it already, I think I did, stands for Black Edition, which adds black accents for all of the chrome accents that you guys are currently looking at up front here. So we did want to start by mentioning that. That Black Edition trim also adds some red accents on the front grille for a little sportier nature, I guess you could say. Halogen headlights do come standard then on all trim levels but the SE. The SE trim is going to give you full LED headlights then, so both low beam and high beam. So thought that was pretty darn cool. Automatic feature is going to come with the Black Edition and SE trims, and then automatic high beams is going to be found on the SE trim level only. So what that is if you have your high beams on at night and it senses a vehicle coming in the opposite direction, it's going to automatically dim them high beams back to low beams, and when the vehicle is gone, it's going to automatically bounce it back up to high beams for you there. So pretty darn convenient feature there. And you guys could see down below those headlights there is kind of a cutout for fog lights. The fog lights are actually going to come on the SE trim level only. However, they are available on the LE trim, but that's what kind of that cutout is down below, beneath the headlights, I should say. So anyways, that pretty much rounds out the front end of the Mirage. Let's now go ahead and make our way to the side. All right, zooming out since we are around to the side of this one. Black window surrounds do come standard. Body colored door handles also coming standard. I know it's a given on most vehicles, but on lower priced vehicles like the Mirage, that isn't always the case, so do want to mention that. Body colored folding side mirrors coming standard. You are going to find integrated turn signals on the SE trim level only, with the gloss black finish, of course, on the Black Edition. But then one of my favorite parts, even without the turn signals being integrated into the side mirrors, one of my favorite parts about the side profile in the Mirage is these JDM turn signal indicators found on the front fenders. So I'll give you guys some B-roll showing that in action real quick, but I love that. That's something like the old Integra Type Rs did in Japan, and the Civic Type Rs always used to do that in Japan. So that is a pretty cool little accent piece in my personal opinion. But then take a look down at the wheel setup. 14-inch steel wheels with covers coming with our ES trim level, of course. 14-inch alloys for the LE, 15-inch black alloys for the Black Edition, and then 15-inch silver alloys for the SE trim level. But that pretty much rounds out the side profile. Let's now go ahead and make our way to the back. All right, so now since we are around to the back of this one, gotta love that black antenna found all the way to the top there. Just below that, rear spoiler with the integrated brake light. Just below that, rear window wiper. Of course, body colored rear diffuser down below. I always think that is pretty cool. And in terms of the exhaust outlet, it is a single exhaust, but there is a chrome tip on the LE trim level and up. But for our ES, we don't have any fancy exhaust finish on ours. But still, having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next. As always, here is that exhaust clip. Alright, so but now since we are around to the back of the Mirage, when it comes to opening that rear liftgate, of course it is a manual liftgate for all trim levels across the board. Once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 17.1 cubic feet. If that was not enough space, of course the rear seats do fold down, so you do get some extra space then if you needed it. There is a cargo light back there. There is a cargo cover that comes standard as well. There is a cargo net that is available, and then if you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, you are going to find a spare tire, which as always is what I prefer as opposed to the fix-a-flat. But so then making our way up to the rear legroom, that is going to come in at 34.2 inches. For reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had back there. There is no center armrest, there is no rear charging ports, and there's no rear ventilation. But with the size of this vehicle, I'm not sure you would actually need the rear ventilation anyways. But then making our way up to the front seats, manually adjustable cloth seating coming with all trim levels but the SE. That SE trim level is going to add a cloth leatherette kind of combo finish, and then you also get heated front seats actually with the SE as well. But steering wheel is going to be leather wrapped for the SE. It's going to be wrapped in urethane for all other trim levels. So then making our way up to the startup, let me start by showing you guys the key here. You got your Mitsubishi logo on the one side. When you flip it over, of course, lock and unlock. Pretty basic key, but it is a turnkey start for all trim levels but the SE. That SE is going to give you a push button start, but in our case, all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and turn the key. And so once started up, then when it comes to the gauges, tachometer is all the way to your left, speedometer is front and center, and you got all your warning lights, of course, to the right. But it is kind of a throwback gauge cluster. It looks like it's from the 90s, like driving an old Integra or something like that, which for a lot of people isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's more reliable than maybe the digital gauge clusters that are out there right now. So for that reason, you might not personally mind it. But now let's go ahead and take a look at overall interior quality here. So SE trim level is going to give you basically all of the little creature comforts, I guess you could say. You get things like a leather wrap shift knob and a gloss black shift panel, things like that. But overall, you do get automatic climate control for all trim levels, meaning I set the temperature to 73. It's going to automatically hit that for me. So that is pretty cool. I like that. Just in front of the shifter, you got a little bit of storage. You got a USB charging port, a couple cup holders. Behind the shifter, you have your old school parking brake there. I like that. And this little center console that I'm showing you guys here, this is an added option for I think a little over $200. That does not come standard on the ES, so I did want to emphasize that, but we do have it as an option. I will say I used it throughout my entire drive. It is definitely a necessity to have some kind of armrest here, because last year when I drove the LE, there was no center armrest. But another change for the 2024 Mirage is the LE trim level and up now does come with a driver's seat armrest. So now let's go ahead and make our way to the infotainment screen here. You're going to find a 7-inch color touchscreen display coming standard for all trim levels across the board. That's going to give you Bluetooth and audio streaming, but also Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. So yes, if you have a smartphone, you got free navigation on this Mirage because you have Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. So I love that. Of course, you can check out your radio information up there as well. And so when it comes to the sound system, there is one of them, and then it comes standard for all trim levels. That's going to be a 4-speaker sound system. So anyways, last thing I want to mention to you guys on that infotainment screen is when you do put the Mirage in reverse, you will find a rear view camera coming standard for all trim levels across the board. So you got to love that. Letting you know who or what is behind you, which is always is going to lead us into safety. And so start, front, side curtain airbags do come standard. You get a driver's knee airbag up front as well. In the back, you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors to tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard, forward collision mitigation system with pedestrian detection and hill start assist as well. Then if you were to go with that SE trim level, that is going to add on top of that a lane departure warning system. And so overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here, this is an extremely affordable vehicle. You get America's best warranty. You get a double powertrain warranty at Younger. New free maintenance program, that's new for 2024 as well. So that's going to save you a little bit more money on top of this vehicle being super inexpensive already. You got this cool JDM turn signal indicators. That's something I personally love. And so, but that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow Younger Mitsubishi on social media at the bottom of the screen. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews and all of our fun YouTube shorts we put on the channel as well. Do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and we will see you guys all in the next video. Bye.